Bonnie, and I'm an instructor for Club Pilates in West New York and in Hoboken, New Jersey. Today we are going to start again with another Pilates flow. Hope you all are staying healthy, and we're here to help you stay active. All right, we are going to start with a nice, relaxed warm-up. So be patient with this. I promise it adds value to all of your movements that you do. You're going to lie down on your back. Your legs are going to be bent, but everything is relaxed. We're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose and an exhale out through the mouth. And inhale and exhale. As you exhale, feel your bones get heavier, feel your muscles relax. One more time, inhale and exhale. Good. So keeping everything relaxed, just using your core and your breath, we're going to tip and tilt the pelvis, or tuck and tilt rather. So take a nice inhale. You're going to let your pelvis tip forward. Again, not using the glutes or the legs, only using the core and the breath. So it's very small, it's a minimal movement. And then as you exhale, you tuck it back. That tuck means that you're imprinting your spine a little bit. Inhale, you let it tip forward. It's going to feel like you're starting to arch your spine. And exhale, you pull it back. Again, this is not a dramatic movement. You're just rolling over that tailbone. One more time, tipping it forward. When we tip it forward, I'm going to call that 6 o'clock. If you had a marble in your belly button, it'd be rolling down towards 6 o'clock. And as you exhale, that marble would be rolling up towards 12 o'clock. And then we're going to find a neutral spine, so we're right on top of that tailbone. You should feel a small space in the low of your back. You're not completely arched, but you're relaxed. Your rib cage is relaxed down. You just have that space in the small of your back. Now, like we were talking about with the clock, the 12 o'clock and the 6 o'clock, we're going to find 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. So you're going to slightly tip over to the left side, and you come back center and you tip over to the right. Again, just using your breath and your core. Your legs should be completely relaxed. Your glutes should be completely relaxed. It should feel like when you're in a bridge and you're isolating one side at a time. If you've never done that, we're going to be doing that today. Good, and come back center. Now we're going to make our way all the way around the clock. So we're going to go to 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and exhaling back to 12. One more time in this direction. It should feel like you're going around the rim of the tailbone. Good. And we're going to go the other way. These small isolated movements are fantastic to start to understand and get to know the internal body and what everything feels like when they're moving or when they should be relaxed. And relax. Good, so now that we kind of have the pelvis a little bit loosened up, we're going to go into some toe taps. Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to start with some bridging. I take it back. Now you know what we're doing after. So my feet are about hip width distance apart to start, just because we're warming up. So using that same idea, you're going to first, without turning on the legs, just using the exhale and the core, tuck the pelvis so you're imprinting the spine. You're going to 12 o'clock. Then you're going to push your feet into the mat to slowly peel your hips off, and the rest of your spine lifts up. Keep the shoulders relaxed as you do this. Think of it as picking up a pearl necklace, one pearl at a time. Send your knees forward so you lengthen out the top of the body. Take a nice inhale, and on an exhale, you're going to roll down the same way you came up. setting down one vertebrae at a time. Really take your time with this. You're trying to get some internal awareness and release of what your body is actually doing on the inside. Take a nice inhale, and on an exhale, tuck the pelvis and slowly peel off, engaging the glutes, lifting the hips up as high as you can without arching the chest or the back. Take a nice inhale, and on an exhale, slowly roll down. We're going to do this 2 more times the same exact way. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, slowly tuck the pelvis back. Push your feet into the mat to lift your hips. Fantastic. I'm going to bring my feet together, my knees together. Take a nice inhale. We're going to go up in a neutral spine this time. So right now we're in a neutral spine. We've got that small space in the low of the back. Now we're just going to push our feet into the mat to lift the hips directly up. You can still do it slowly. It doesn't have to be fast just because it's direct. And you're going to set your hips back down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 8. Keeping those knees connected. 7. Don't forget to breathe. 6. And 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Bringing it back down. Good. So we're going to go into a couple more advanced movements. Take a nice inhale, exhale, tuck the pelvis and slowly peel through the spine again, just like we did in the first one. Lifting the hips up. Now we're going to bring the right leg either into tabletop. You can either just lift it up an inch, bring it into tabletop, or extend it all the way up. You can either stay here, or you're going to slowly release down halfway and lift back up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set that foot down. Squeeze the knees together to reestablish the position in the stabilizing. Go ahead and extend that left leg up. You're going to release down halfway and lift. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down. Good. Take a nice inhale. And exhale, slowly release down. Good, so we're going to do one more bridge, and this time we're going to work on that isolation work. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, slowly peeling off. Good. So I'm going to relax and release my left side of the glute. It's just going to drop slightly. I'm not tipping it over to make it more dramatic. You just feel it slightly release, and you re-engage to pick it back up. That right side stays engaged as the left side relaxes and lifts back up. 3 more. Good. Now you're going to keep the left side engaged. The right side relaxes and lifts. Relaxes and lifts. It's not a very big movement, so don't expect your body to move a lot. You're just releasing one part of the glute. The other part of the glute is still engaged. Last 2. And last one. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, slowly roll the rest of the way down. And release. Good. Hug your knees into the chest. You can rock side to side, releasing that low back a bit. Good. We're going to get right back into it. So, hands are by your side. Legs are going to go into tabletop position. Now, ideally, you hold that neutral spine as you're doing this. If that bothers your low back at all, another option is to tuck the pelvis and imprint the low spine into the mat. Either way is fine. So we have our tabletop position. We're gonna inhale as we hinge the leg to tap the toe down onto the mat. Exhale, pulling it back in. Inhale, tap the toe down. Exhale, pulling it back in. Now notice this is slow and controlled. This is not super fast. You wanna be able to feel your alignment being held by the core. If you feel like you're moving around a lot, slow the movement down. If bringing your toes all the way down to the mat bothers you at all, you don't need to make it all the way. You can hover it and then pull it back up to a comfortable position. You're working with the body you woke up with this morning. It's gonna change daily. Be kind to it. Try to relax the head and neck. Relax the shoulders. If you need to, I like sometimes to put my palms facing to the ceiling. Sometimes that helps roll my shoulder blades back and just turn them off. Keep those low ribs pulling down towards the mat. Three more. 2 and 1. Good, so now we're gonna curl the chin towards the chest. Now I do like to imprint the low back here. Of course, keeping it that neutral spine is also an option and a great one at that. So I'm gonna place my right hand on the inside of my left knee, my left hand on the outside of the shin. I'm gonna extend my right leg long, hovering it above the mat, and then I'm gonna switch. 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 Going nice and slow so you can really feel that core turn on. Once you feel nice and stabilized, you can go a little faster. We've got 10 more. Two and 1. Good. Relax back down. Fantastic. We're gonna stretch the legs a little bit with this next one. Don't go too crazy. We're still warming up. We haven't done a lot with the legs quite yet, but this one is gonna be a nice one to kind of stretch the skins, get a little bit into that hamstring as well. So similar to the idea that we just did, we're gonna extend the right leg up. Left leg is gonna go out. I'm gonna curl the chin towards the chest. Of course, you can keep the head on the ground if you need to. I'm gonna pulse twice back towards me and switch. Pulse, pulse. The core comes in by stabilizing everything into the mat. Don't forget to breathe. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Relax down. Now I'm gonna bring my hands up towards the ceiling. Legs are in a tabletop, or legs can be out to 45 when we curl up. Totally up to you. We're gonna go into the hundreds. So take a nice inhale to prepare. On an exhale, you're gonna curl the chin towards the chest. Again, legs can stay here, or they can go out into an angle. We're gonna start pumping the arms up and down an inch. You really wanna feel resistance, like you're working the arms through water. Take a nice inhale for 5 pumps. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Halfway done. Last 2 sets. Last one. And hug the knees into the chest, rock side to side. Well, at least you got the hundreds in for the day. It's not my favorite, but it's over and done with. And you completed it. Great job. So now we're gonna do some side oblique work. So my elbow is going to be down. You can also be on the palm of your hand. That makes it a little bit easier. Elbow down for me. Other options. So side planks, your legs are extended out. Now, if you need a modified option, go up to the palm of your hand, come to that side plank, and then drop your bottom knee onto the mat. Don't bring it right under the hip. You want to bring it out away from the hip a bit so you can still have a reason to use those side obliques. They're still going to turn on. This just helps give you some support. So I've got my top leg stepping in front of that bottom leg. I'm going to lift the hips up, reach the top arm up towards the ceiling. Now I'm going to either hold here, all right? Shoulder is right over the elbow or right over the palm of the hand, depending on which version you're doing. Pull the shoulder blades down. You're going to inhale, drop the hips down. Exhale, pick them back up, piking them a little bit higher than your plank. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. 5 more. 3, 2, 1. Good. I'm going to keep my hips at this level. Take a nice inhale. Then I pike them as I thread my top arm underneath the body and bring it back up. Thread underneath. Bring it back up. I like to watch the hand that's threading underneath. It adds a little bit of a challenge. Last 2. And last 1. And slowly relax down. Fantastic. We're going to go to the other side. All right. So again, find your version. When you're ready, top leg steps out in front. You're going to lift the hips. Reach that top arm up towards the ceiling. Again, either hold this, or if you want to try adding these challenges, you're going to inhale, set the hips down, exhale, pike them up. Inhale, lower, exhale, pike them up. 5 more. 3, and 2, and 1. Good. Keep the hips where they're at in that plank position. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, pike the hips even higher. Thread that top arm through. And lift. Pike and thread. And lift. 5 more. And 4. 3. 2. And last 1. Come down and relax. Perfect. All right, we are going to now go into some planks. Again, I know everyone's favorite. All right, so we are going to start with our palms on the mat, or you can go into the forearms, especially if that bothers your wrists at all. The forearms is also a little bit challenging, but why not take the challenge? Just feel if you like it. If not, you can always go back to the palms. You're going to extend one leg back at a time, and you're in the plank. Remember, shoulders are right over the elbows or the palms. My hips are not higher than my shoulders. They can be in line with the shoulders. You don't want them to be dropped. If you feel this in your low back at all, the hips are probably a little bit low. You want to engage the glutes. Pull the low ribs up towards the spine. Good. Now you can either hold this plank, or we're going to bend the right elbow in towards the armpit. It's turned out, and you extend. Bend the left knee in towards the armpit and extend. Again, this is not under the body. This is the leg is turned out and reaching up the body. Don't forget to breathe. 5, one, and then even it out. And slowly come down. Perfect. Now we're going to be up on our palms for this next one. It just creates space underneath. You're going to extend back. Again, if you need a modification for this on the knees, you place your knees down after you find that plank position. Don't bring the knees right underneath the hips. It won't use as much of the core strength. Bring them back a little bit. It's finding a nice diagonal from the top of the head down to the knees. Find that nice plank position. Now we're going to open up. Oh, and we're back in the side plank. We've got one more thing here. I'm going to bend my elbow and bring my top knee in. Now, if that's not what you can do today, just try to lift that top leg. Lift and lower. Otherwise, you're going to bring elbow to knee and extend. Elbow to knee and extend. We've got 5. And 4. And 3. 2. And 1. Good. Come back to that plank. We're going to do 2 push-ups. Only as low as you can handle. Take a nice inhale, bend the elbows. Exhale, push through the palms. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, push. And we're going to go to the other side. I'm just going to flip to the other side of the mat so you can see me. Opening up into that nice side plank. Again, you're either just lifting and lowering that top foot, or you're bringing elbow to knee and extend. 5 more. 3. And 2. And 1. Come back center, 2 more push-ups. And come on down. Perfect. So the next thing that we're going to do, if you need to, rotate your wrists because we're going to go back onto our hands. We're going to be in a quadruped position this time, so our knees are right under our hips, so it's not going to be as much weight on our hands. So hands and knees are down. Let's take a couple cat and cows just to get into our spine a little bit. Remember, your shoulders are right over your wrist. Knees are right under the hips. Shoulders pull down away from the ears. Place some weight into your hands. We tend to place it back. We want it even in the knees and the hands. So bring it forward just a little bit. You're going to take a nice inhale. Let the belly button drop. Bring the tailbone up. Lift the chin. Exhale, belly button goes to spine, tuck the pelvis, drop the chin towards the chest. Inhale, arching the back. And exhale, tucking the pelvis and contracting. 2 more. And last one. Perfect. So make sure you have some space behind you on the mat. I'm going to start with my left foot. I'm going to bring it up. Keep that 90-degree angle behind the knee, and my foot is flexed. I'm going to lift it up towards the ceiling and lower to hip level. Lift and lower, like you're making a footprint on the ceiling. Now notice my low back isn't dropping as I do this. My torso is not moving. I keep that still. You're going to feel that glute turn on a lot more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to extend my leg out, bring it in, and push back. Bring it in. Use some resistance. This can be super easy. It can be also super difficult if you use resistance. So you want to think about pushing through peanut butter, some really thick peanut butter. 3 more. That's going to help turn your muscles on. 2 and 1. Good. I'm going to point the foot and now I'm going to lift it up and lower, kind of like what I did when my knee was bent. This time we have a long leg and the foot is pointed. Now check out your weight. Make sure it's not back onto that right knee, all of it. Shift it forward slightly and make sure you're not opening up at all. Keep the hips square to the mat. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, since my leg has been parallel this whole time, I'm going to turn it out. So you let that hip open just slightly, and you lift and lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Place that foot down, right side. Flex the foot. Push the foot up towards the ceiling and lower back to hip level. Lift and lower. Keeping those low ribs pulling up towards the spine, lengthening that back. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Extend that foot. Keep it flexed. You're going to bend that knee in and push all that peanut butter away. Bend and push. Three and 2 and 1. Good. I'm going to point the toes. Keep the hips square to the mat. You lift and lower that nice long leg, keeping it parallel. So that knee is facing down to the ground. Pulling the shoulders away from the ears again. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to turn that leg out so the knee starts facing towards your side wall. You're going to lift and lower again. You're not letting the pelvis change at all. That's where the glutes come in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Relax back. Sit back into that child's pose. And slowly restack the spine up. Fantastic. So we are going to lie down. We're going to hit the core again. And then we'll get back into the legs. So take a nice inhale. Legs are into tabletop. On an exhale, you're going to curl the chin towards the chest. Hands either go behind the knees, or for an extra challenge, you're going to push the palms against the bottom of the thighs, right above the knees. On an inhale, you're going to extend the legs long to a 45-degree angle. My arms extend above my ears. Exhale, I circle my arms around as my legs come back into tabletop, either grabbing behind the knees or again pushing against them. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. If you don't have enough room, like me, you're just going to bring your arms right directly where they need to be, no circles. If you do have room, take advantage of those circles. You can switch up between the variations. 3 and 2 and 1. Relax down. So this next one, we're going to keep our head down on the mat. Kind of returning to those first basic principles that we started with, where we were going over the tailbone. We're going to use that again. So you're going to feel the pelvis change with this next exercise. That's okay, as long as the low ribs pull down towards the spine the entire time. There's no reason the mid-back should be arching and picking up for this next one. So we're going to extend our legs. You can also do this into tabletop. That's going to be a little bit kinder to the core, maybe into the low back as well. So if you have any issues, I would just bend the legs. You can even let the heels relax all the way down towards the glutes and just use the knees. So we're going to do a figure 8 with our legs. So an 8 that's lying down horizontally. So I'm going to make the bottom of the 8, round it over to the right side, bring it back up. I lift my pelvis slightly, not with momentum, but with my core. Then I bring it down through center, do another circle in the other direction. So you're picking up your pelvis with your core only. You're also letting those legs drop down a little bit. Again, if this bothers you or it's too much, just make the movement smaller. And then as you start getting the hang of it, You can make it a little bit bigger. Again, we're tracing a figure 8 or the number 8 that's lying down horizontally, just 2 circles. There's a slight lift in the pelvis when you bring the feet towards you. You can probably hear my floors creaking. Three more. And last 2. And last 1. And relax. Good. You can hug those knees into the chest. All right. So we're going to do something for the arms. All right, so we are gonna hit the legs one last time, then we'll do a little bit of tricep work before we end. So if it doesn't bother you, come up to your knees. If you have a mat, you can double up the mat. You're gonna come to your knees. Your knees are falling right under the hips, so they're hip width distance apart. The tops of the feet are down on the mat, so they're not flexed, they're relaxed down. My hips, my glutes rather, are going to tuck under. You're going to lengthen up nice and tall. Fingertips are reaching down. I'm going to inhale as I lower my hips to tap them down on the heels. My arms come up at a diagonal in front of me. Exhale, I push my hips back up. Inhale, you lower the hips down, engage the glutes as you send the hips forward. You want to make sure each time those hips come under the shoulders. This is going to get our thighs, this is going to get our glutes. We're going to do 20, 19, 18, 'Keep reaching out of those fingers. Halfway there. Don't forget to breathe. Four more. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Relax. Good. So we're going to stay up on our knees. I'm going to face you this time. So I'm going to place my hands behind my head. Again, my knees are about hip width distant apart. I'm going to work some side oblique and rotation. So I'm going to reach my right elbow up towards the ceiling. Use those side obliques to pull your body back up. Reach that left elbow up. Then I'm going to rotate towards the right and to the left. Right elbow reaches and left. And rotate to the right and left. Right and left. So you really shouldn't feel the weight in the knees change or shift at all. This is all in the side obliques. I'm not leaning over. I'm just reaching up right over my pelvis. 2 more on each. Last time. And relax. Fantastic. So now I'm going to stay on my left knee. My left arm is going to be down by my side. My right leg is extended and I have this nice long angle all the way up. So we are going to start with some leg lifts here. I like my arm reaching up towards the ceiling. You can have it reaching overhead. That makes it a little bit more difficult. This stacks everything on top of each other. Hold the low obliques or the lower ribs in towards the spine. Those side obliques are lifting up. You're going to lift and lower your leg. My shoulder is right over my wrist. My hip is right over the knee. 3, and 2, and 1. I'm going to keep that leg lifted. I'm going to flex it and pulse it forward twice, point it and pulse it back. Now you're really going to feel if your pelvis is moving here. I have less mobility than I would if I were lying on the floor, so don't expect the same mobility. You're stabilizing it in a different way. Last 3, and 2. Keep that leg lifted. Last 1. Good. I'm going to set that leg back down. I'm going to reach elbow towards knee. Extend. Good. Last 5. You've got this. And 4. And 3. 2. And 1. Relax. Whew. Perfect. Let's go to the other side. So I'm just doubling up the other side because my knees don't like to be on a thin mat. My right hand is under the shoulder, right knee is under the hips. If you're on the other side, that's fine. Just that bottom half of the body is really stacked up under the pelvis and the shoulders. Again, arm can reach overhead. I like it stacked right on top. I'm going to lift and lower that top leg, keeping everything in my body still. Reaching with the top of my head long. 3, and 2, and 1. Good. Reach it up, flex the foot, pulse it forward twice, point. You're going to pulse it back twice. You're really going to feel those glutes turn on so that leg doesn't pull your hips back. Keeping that leg lifted at least to hip level if you can. 3, and 2, and last 1. Good. We're going to end with a burner. Reach the arm overhead, knee to elbow, extend. Knee to elbow, extend. Don't forget to breathe. 4, and 3. Last 2, and 1. Relax. Good. So let's go ahead and lie on our stomach really quick. We're going to do some tricep work before we go. Tuck the glutes under. That pubic bone is pushing in towards the mat. Low ribs are reaching up towards the spine. Hands are by your shoulders. You're going to press into the palms. So press in towards the part of the hand that's back towards the wrist. And you're going to lift and lower the chest. This is less about extension in the back. I'm not trying to bow the back at all. I'm lifting the back up in one shape. Shoulders pull down. We've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. Fantastic. So let's go into some stretches. Let's go ahead and stack our shins on top of each other. If you're looking for something a little bit extra, you're going to stack the knees on top of each other. Just make sure both sits bones are down on the mat. Then you're going to hinge over the legs. And slowly come up. You're going to switch sides. And then hinge over the legs. hands coming up. I'm gonna fold my mat again, because I'm gonna come back to my knees. If this bothers your knee, you can do this standing up as well. I'll show you the modification in a second. So my right leg is gonna extend forward. I'm on my left knee. I'm pulling that right hip back so my hips are squared. Keeping your hip or your pelvis lifted and light, you're gonna push your pelvis forward to bend that right knee and slowly bring it back. We're gonna do that about 5 times. Now, if it bothers your knees at all, you're gonna come up. That right leg is gonna reach forward. If you cannot reach all the way down to the mat, have something by your side that you can hold on to. And you're just gonna reach that pelvis forward and back by bending that front leg. So you can feel it a little bit deeper if you are on your knees. Again, you're pushing that pelvis forward. You're not letting it sink down. You're reaching it forward so you can stretch that hand or the hip flexor in the left leg. 2 and 1. Good. Go ahead and switch legs. Pulling this left hip back. I'm bringing my hips forward, reaching them forward, and then extending to send them back. Reach forward and extend to send them back. 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Go ahead and interlace your fingers behind you. Send the knuckles down, opening up the chest. Release the fingers. Sitting back onto your mat, you're going to drop the chin towards the chest. The right ear is going to reach over to the right shoulder. Make sure that left shoulder is pulled down and away. You'll feel the stretch. Bring it through center again. Left ear to left shoulder. And coming back center. Lifting up, and you are finished. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you soon.